with a dropper test match to save England. Plenty of rain back home, some strong winds too, particularly for the northern half of the UK. Particularly rough end to the week here. Some large arrows across the northern half of the UK, but distinct lack of blue in those arrows, so never terribly cold winds, but very moist winds coming in off the Atlantic, producing a lot of rain. The radar echoes showing some very bright echoes for the west of Scotland right now. Torrential rain. In fact, the Met Office has just issued a severe weather warning for central and western parts of Scotland. Combination of heavy rain and severe gales. Some really nasty conditions on the road. So a bit of a washout for western Scotland, pretty damp too for Northern Ireland, northwestern parts of England and Wales. But to the south and east of that, a very different story. Eastern fringes of Scotland, much of central and eastern England dry, some brightness, some sunshine around, delightful scene outside in Leicester, and I think we'll hang on to some brightness throughout the rest of the afternoon. Mild too, temperatures up into double figures after a chilly old start, but it will be tempered to some extent by the strength of the wind in the north. Now this evening and overnight the rain arrives across northern England. Some very heavy rain for the Cumbrian Fells, Western Pennines, Snowdonia too. Not just heavy rain, increasingly strong winds, gusts of 60 to 70 miles an hour, not just over the high ground in the west, funneling through the gaps in the hills into some parts of northeast England too. So again, some dangerous conditions on the roads. This is the worst of the weather through tomorrow morning, wet and windy. If anything, that wind and rain is going to start to edge northwards again through Northern Ireland into southwest Scotland. Southwest Scotland getting a real pacing. The river levels are going to need watching. We could see, 4 or 5 inches of rain up over the higher ground. I think the far north of Scotland will see some brightness for a time. And again, many southern and eastern parts of England getting away with a mostly dry and bright afternoon. Some spells of sunshine from time to time. Mild, if anything, milder than today. 13, possibly 14 degrees in the heart of England. Quite remarkable for this time of year. But again, some strong winds around, so perhaps not feeling just as mild as that. Here's the weather system responsible for all that wind and rain. Eventually, it will dive south and east again, clearing the wind and rain away with it. So by Saturday, we're mostly in the clear. Not a bad sort of start to the weekend. Some sunshine around, mostly bright and breezy for central and eastern parts of the UK. Out west, though, that strong blustery wind will feed showers in, particularly to western parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland, western fringes of England and Wales. Turning colder as well, so some of those showers turning wintry up over the high ground of Scotland and Northern Ireland. Then on Sunday, it's all changed again. Another weather system piling in off the Atlantic, so turning wet in the west, but the dry and bright weather hanging on further east. So a windy weekend, blustery showers in the north and the west, sunnier spells in the southeast. Anna.